Right, so now we're going to talk about compositions. So what we have here is we have f of x equals 2x minus 7. We have g of x is 4x squared minus x plus 10. And what they're going to tell you to do is to find either fog, f of g, or goff, g of f. So I put here as goff just for the sake of time, as my camera will only let me do 20 minutes at a time and then it has issues. And so we're going to do g of f because that one seems like the more complicated one because there's multiple x's in g. And so the way we're going to work this is you're always going to start with the very first one that they gave you. The very first one in the question is g. So I'm going to rewrite this as a composition. You see I color-coded f is in purple, g is in blue, so I'm going to try to keep with that color coding a little bit. The very first one is going to be g of, that little bitty o is the same as of. Inside the parentheses, instead of being g of x, it's going to be g of f of x. And so then for the next one inside, that's when you take your second one, it's going to be f of, and then whatever's in this parentheses right here, that is what goes inside. So this is g of f of x. This is not g of f times x. This is still part of the name. F of x is the same thing as y. It's a name. It's got nothing to do with multiplication. So make sure right here that x, all it's telling you is that there will be x's in your answers. You're not going to multiply your answer by x. You're not going to do anything like that. All it's saying is at the very end, you're not plugging in a number. I do have another video where I put a number here, and then I show you how to get that number at the very end, and you plug a number in. But it's not multiplication by any way, shape, or form. Please, please don't multiply. Okay, so g, and then everywhere there's an x, you put open parentheses. Inside those parentheses, you're going to put f of x. So I'm going to start with my g. G is 4x squared. So that's 4 parentheses squared. I'm just leaving open parentheses right now. Minus x. I'm just leaving open parentheses. Plus 10. And this is going to be a little bit of a longer problem because we do have a binomial squared. Inside is going to be f of x, so that's your 2x minus 7. Here's your binomial that's squared. And inside is 2x minus 7. Everywhere inside of g goes the purple. Everywhere you have the open set of parentheses, that is f of x. You're not plugging different things in. You're plugging the same thing into each set of parentheses because everywhere there's an x, you plug in f of x. But just like if I said find g of 5. If I tell you to find g of 5, then everywhere there's an x in g, you substitute 5. Here, instead of substituting a number, you're substituting 2x minus 7. So if there's more than one x's, there's more than one 2x minus 7's that gets plugged in. Okay? And then as we work this out, we've got to be very careful. One thing I try to emphasize to my lower level students, my 305 students and such, is that to get rid of parentheses, you've got to use multiplication. Exponents cannot get rid of parentheses. Subtraction cannot get rid of parentheses. The only way to get rid of parentheses is multiplication. So you cannot get rid of parentheses. You cannot distribute a square. Now on the flip side, I cannot distribute this 4 because the order of operations says I have to do exponents before I do multiplication. So we're kind of contradicting ourselves there a little bit, right? So the way we're going to get rid of that exponent without getting rid of the parentheses is we're going to say, what is an exponent? An exponent or a square. What is a square? Anything squared is times itself. So I'm going to take that exponent, and instead of writing 2x minus 7 squared, I'm going to put 2x minus 7 times 2x minus 7. Now I have no exponent, but I did not get rid of the parentheses because exponents do not eliminate parentheses. Only multiplication eliminates parentheses. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite the rest of the step. I did not change anything else. I didn't get rid of any other parentheses. I'm trying to do one thing at a time. Okay. Now when I have a number times parentheses, we've got to make sure the number only goes to one of them. It does not go to both sets of them. It'd be like me taking a glass of water and 2 empty cups and saying, okay, I'm going to take this water and I want to mix all of it together. And I want to take the full glass of water and pour it into the second cup. I don't have anything left to pour, I don't have anything left to pour into the last cup. If I combine these two, I don't have anything left for the last one. You don't need to, because when I take the second cup and I pour it into the last one, suddenly what was in the first one is in the last. So what we're going to do, and the easiest way I've come to explain this to students, is I tell them to FOIL before they distribute. Because if they distribute first, they tend to get it wrong. So we're going to add extra parentheses here, and we're going to FOIL this inside. And because FOILing is multiplication, that will eliminate a set of parentheses. It will eliminate one set of the multiplication. It cannot eliminate it all. So we're going to eliminate the inside multiplication. Then we'll have 4 times the set. So 2x times 2x, 4x squared. 2x times negative 7, negative 14x. Negative 7 times 2x. And negative 7 times negative 7. Okay. That is still in parentheses. Everything else, I'm just going to make it fall. I'm not changing anything else right now. I'm trying to do one thing at a time. Once we start multitasking, we leave ourselves open to make other mistakes. If you're in too much of a rush to finish the problem, you're leaving yourself open to make little bitty mistakes. So if you do one thing at a time, you are less likely to fall prey to little mistakes. Combine like terms, this is negative 28x. So we have 4 times 4x squared. Okay, so here's your problem now. We've combined like terms. So now we're going to get rid of the next 2 sets of parentheses. The only way to get rid of parentheses is multiplication. So I'm going to take this 4 and I'm going to multiply it to every term in the parentheses. That is how you get rid of them. 4 times 4, 16x squared. 4 times negative 28. I really should have done that math beforehand. 152. I am doing that off my head, so if there's a mistake, please don't blast the comments. 4 times 49. 4 times 9. Again, please, if there's a mistake, just get the right numbers. I did those 2 numbers in my head, and I'm normally not supposed to do math in my head. To get rid of these parentheses, the only way to get rid of parentheses is multiplication. They don't just go away for the sake of going away. The only time parentheses can go away is if it's being multiplied by positive 1, which is still multiplication. So here in front of this, you have a positive or a negative 1 in front of the parentheses. That is the number that's getting distributed. So negative 1 times positive 2x, negative 2x. Negative 1 times negative 7, positive 7, and then this plus 10 just falls. This sign change right here for my students, that's a 2-point sign change. I don't care if it's a 3-point problem, a 5-point problem, a 7-point problem. That's a 2-point sign change. So that's more than all my other sign number mistakes. Be careful when distributing a negative. We've got to get really good at distributing those negatives. At this point, we are almost done. All we have left is to combine like terms. 16x squared, there's no other x squared. 152x, just an x, I have a negative 2x. So that's going to be negative 154x. Okay. 196 plus 7 plus 10. Be what, 213? That should be your answer. Please be careful. On your test, please bring a calculator. I don't trust myself to do the arithmetic in my head. I really don't trust my students to. On a test, you're panicked, you're nervous. It's very easy to make mistakes, kind of like how you are when you're on video about to put yourself on the internet. Have a good day.